Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. Like every day, we are here to wrap the markets for you. Well, no big volatile movements that we really saw today, as one would have anticipated in the backdrop of this entire Fed rate hike. 25 basis points, Agam, of course, was a given and priced in, but the surprising factor was the 3 hikes, so the faster rate of hike that was announced. Nevertheless, the markets seem to have digested that. So after a weak opening for the Indian indices, the markets actually reversed all their losses to trade a little higher, but nevertheless they traded mostly flattish for most of the session, but the Nifty slid just in the last few minutes to end 28 points lower at 8,150. But the Indian rupee was trading weaker by 35 paise against the dollar, and the Indian 10-year bond yield spiked by as much as 7 or 8 basis points to 6.48%. That's the highest level we've seen in almost a month now. So currency and the debt markets were really showing a lot more impact or reaction as compared to the equity markets, as we would have expected. But Agam, what did you learn from Gaurav this Saturday?
He said that he's expecting the markets to remain range bound, especially given we are going into the last couple of weeks of December, so we're not expecting too much activity there. And based on his reading, we are expecting the Nifty range to remain between 8,000 on the downside and 8,300 on the upside. And it's the same for the Nifty Bank as well. He's expecting consolidation there as well. On the whole, he has also spoken about various stocks, and for that I'm going to ask you to tune in to Surf's Up today. But on the whole, he is expecting the Nifty to remain stable going into the next couple of days.
All right, let's take a look at some of the big F&O movers. How was the volatility index doing today?
Well, we have seen the volatility index come off because we're coming out of an event. It's natural for that to happen. But what's really standing out today, Shraddha, is that while the volumes and the turnovers in the cash markets have remained average, the turnovers in the futures and options space has been twice as much as what we've seen in the past 3-4 days. One might expect that you would see a little bit of build up while we move into the Fed event, but what has also happened is that we have seen a little bit of an unwinding of positions. That is possibly one reason why turnovers for the F&O part in the National Stock Exchange stand at nearly 6.67 lakh crores.
That's so a sizable number after many days.
Yes, it is a substantially high number. But once again, a lot will depend on whether or not this has been because of unwinding of positions taken earlier, or it could be new positions. That time will tell. But if we were to go by what Gaurav Bisa is saying, we are expecting some consolidation, because I am looking at that big build up on both these options that he's talking about, 8,300 on the top side and 8,000 on the downside.
All right, let's move to the Nifty movers. So you had your TCS and HCL Technologies, which was sitting on good gains of about 1.5 to 2% on the back of weaker rupee, so that was driving these IT stocks higher. Axis Bank was again sitting on the top of the gainers with a good 2.5% run. ONGC, of course, continues to make its fresh 52-week highs. On the losing end, you had Sun Pharma shares dropped as much as 4.5% after Bloomberg reported earlier today that the US generic drug price collusion probe was seen expanding, as a small generic drug maker was said to be preparing to plead guilty to the price fixing charges. Tata Motors, Grasim and NTPC were amongst the notable laggards, but Agam, the mid caps fared much better today.
Yes, they certainly did, because if you look at the mid cap index, they may show a decline overall, but the market breadth is something which is encouraging, because we've seen one advance for one decline. Let's take a look at some of these losers and gainers, but I'm going to start with the losers, considering we have seen the markets decline for now. So we have National Aluminium looking at a correction of 7.8%, followed by TVS Sri Chakra down 5.6%, Unitech and along with Tamil Nadu Newsprint also declining by a little over 3.5%. But with respect to gainers, was Swan Energy continues to flip-flop. It was losing out yesterday, it's gaining up as much as 11% today. Sonata Software and Hathway Cable along with Shilpa Medicare also gaining to a certain extent. For us, these gains are to the tune of anywhere between 4.5 to 5%. But on the whole, we are looking for more clues as to where the market is going to head, and for that we will need to see more data coming in from what not only the FIRs are doing but also domestic institutions. But that is also what we have for as far as today's day of trade is concerned. It's been a fairly easy ride considering we're coming out of one of the very important events for the year.
And sorry to interrupt, but Agam, because if you're talking about the directions or cues as you were talking about,
Right.
I think we're heading into a long holiday season as far as
Of
some
course.
of the global
Yes.
markets are concerned. So
Yes.
every time this year, markets are or trading volumes are expected to sort of taper down.
Right.
So in terms of domestic cues, I think everybody is going to start looking at the expectations for the December ended quarter.
Right.
So earnings,
Right.
of course, you're going to
Yes.
start taking the center stage. Back again. So that's
And
as far as we have the cues that we have to
Right.
watch in the near
Right.
term.
Of course, we're also going to start getting some preliminary reports on what we can expect from the budget, considering that's also been brought forward.
Absolutely.
So, well, plenty to watch out for, and because of that, you will need to stay tuned into Bloomberg Quint. So, for that, you can always visit our website. And until tomorrow, it is goodbye.